And welcome back, everybody. This is Movies and Beyond. I am Callum. That is Kyle. Kyle, how are we doing today?
Good.
Mate, I'm going to punch you in your fucking face. Just be like, you're right, yeah, you're right, Callum. Yeah. How we doing, mate? Instead, you go all, hi.
Shit, it's what the people know.
It's not what the people know.
It is. Going into our first topic, anyways.
No, we're not.
Joker.
We're not going into our first topic.
We are going into our first topic.
You gotta listen to what I have to say to you. You cunt. All right.
I don't need to hear you. I want to hear if this flopped or not.
Well, listen. If we're talking about your cock, then yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Joker. Folie et deux. Hasn't had the best weekend. Definitely a downgrade from the first film in both critical and financial success. The more I think about this film, the more I hate it. So yeah,
I think the hate is. I think this is an overhated film. I really do.
I just. Do you know what it is with me? Every time I think about it, I get mad. Whenever I think about it.
I get that it's a disappointment. I agree, but it's not as bad as everyone is making it out to be. Yeah, it has a terrible critic score on like Rotten Tomatoes and everywhere else, but I don't know, just something about it. It's got a weird charm to it. I think for me at least, definitely Joaquin Phoenix carried this film, and obviously with Lady Gaga, which she is fantastic as an actress. This had every sort of, piece of the cake, piece of the puzzle to be an outstanding film. You got the original director coming back. Joaquin Phoenix, he's coming back to do a sequel.
I love how you say Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin. It's Joaquin.
Yeah, I know, but still, Joaquin Phoenix.
Walkie-talkie Phoenix.
Walkie-talkie Phoenix, yeah. So, anyways, it had everything there to be a really good film and do very well at the box office, but it kind of fell apart when we went to go see it. If you want to see what we truly think about it, our review is up. We're kind of divided, but I definitely think that this film isn't as bad as people are making it out to be.
Yeah. Anyway, box office. It's not done terrible over the weekend. It's not done terrible. Don't let people tell you that this film has done terrible. It's definitely a step down from the first film. And if this had the first film's budget, this would be very good. Now, this is a budget of 200 million, I believe. And it's made 120 million worldwide this weekend. I maybe see this closing in like maybe around that, maybe just breaking even. I don't think it's going to lose them money. It might, the terrible reception might have like no one go out and see it now at all, like next weekend.
I disagree, just because Halloween's coming up. You got all them people dressing up as Harley Quinn and Joker and, just sort of people who aren't big, comic book fans or anything like that. They'll be like, oh, Joker's on in cinema, let's go, see that, it's Halloween time. But yeah, no, definitely the reception is not going to do this film any favours. The really bad reception.
It's got two weekends to try and make some money. After that, Venom's out. Venom films have done pretty well in the box office, even the one that came out during pandemic era. So
yeah,
it's got.
I mean, it's sad. It's really sad because this could have been something special, and it kind of fell through. Really,
yeah.
I think I agree with you. I think what we said just before we filmed. I think it will break even. But again, it's just really sad, and it's sad to know that we're never going to get this adaptation of Joker on the screen, really, ever again. You can close the book on a third one, of course, without spoiling it. I don't see how they can do a third one with where they left it. But yeah, it's sad to see it go.
Yeah. No, look, I seen something today, and it was quite funny, actually. It said, how did we go from talking about Joker 1, comparing it to, like, Academy Award winning films, Joaquin Phoenix winning an Oscar for his portrayal of the Joker in that first film, to the second one being compared to Morbius in both box office and...
I completely disagree. I don't think it is anywhere near as bad as like Morbius or any of those types of films.
I think you might be the biggest champion for this film. And not saying that in a bad way, but you're like the person who I think has been the most positive about it that I've seen online.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some shit films.
Yeah.
Morbius is a good example.
Kyle, you might actually get it. So one of your quotes is on the back of the DVD. Because you're the only person saying good stuff about it. Oh yeah, Kyle movies and Kyle's movies and beyond.
Oh,
yeah, right. It were alright, I guess. It wasn't as bad as people are making it out to be.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. DC, you can definitely do that on the back of the cover. I am fine with it. You have my full approval. I definitely think this film is way overhated. I think one of the factors of it is just people, it's weird because people are fine with it when it comes to Venom, but for Joker, it seems like...
Well, I think the thing with Venom is people knew what they were getting with Venom, and it didn't hold itself to such a high standard. But you look at the first film, and the people who love it think it's like the best film ever.
Yeah.
Like the people who really, really love it hold it up there with like Oscar-winning films, which it is. So.
Yeah, I know the first Joker, for me at least, how I perceived it, it had a sort of a mixed reception. Mostly good, because the film did very well financially, and it did pretty good critically. But for me, it was very mixed. I felt very mixed when I saw the first one. Going into this one, I wasn't excited at all, really, except for the Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn. I was so on board.
I remember before,
it just kind of...
we were both just sat there going, I ain't excited for this.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. It's kind of sad for it to sort of end on a not so high note, a very low note. I think a lot of the negative reception, though, for this film is just because, like you said, it's the high standard people have set.
Yeah, definitely.
I went into this film with the lowest standard possible. I was expecting, like, dog shit tier of just not greatness. But it was all right. Like I say, I think it's definitely worth watching just to see what you think.
And that'll be on the Blu-ray.
Entertaining. it's definitely worth watching. We'll do DVD commentary.
Yeah.
This film's definitely worth watching. This scene. But yeah, no, that's where I stand with it. I'm just sad that it's ended on such a not so high note.
One thing I want to add is the thing that I take away from going to see this film, like the thing that stands out the most to me. I don't want to be all negative about it, but before the film started, when the ads were playing, one of the ads just finished and Kyle farted, and it was so loud and everyone heard it. But everyone thought it was me because, I'm fat, so everyone thought, the fatty farted. But no, it was Kyle, so just letting you all know.
That is a strange bit of... Okay.
It was fucking funny though, wasn't it? Mate, it went quiet and he just went... I was like, the fuck? It's like perfect. As soon as the ad ended, Kyle decides to shit his pants.
No, I fired. You shit your pants, mate.
Well, yeah, after I couldn't turn my head that way because everyone were looking at me. Yeah.
You know, I was saying people were leaving the film.
Yeah, it's because you farted.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Right, let's get on to next topic. Nice fun one. Sam Raimi. Mr. Sam Raimi. He is in final talks to direct Doctor Strange 3. Now this is coming to us from Jeff Schneider, the Insider. Look, Jeff's right with a lot of things. He's been wrong on some things, but he's mostly right with a lot of things. A thing I can think of recently is the Spider-Verse stuff that he was wrong on. Now, I believe he were told that, and I believe he trusted his source, but kind of turns out that were some misinformation. But still, this is very believable anyway. Sam Raimi being in talks to direct Doctor Strange 3. Kyle, do you like the news? Yes or no? Do you want to see Sam Raimi return for Doctor Strange 3? Maybe get a bit of redemption from that first one. Maybe get a different writer involved to help him out with it a bit instead of Michael Waldron.
Look, so I'm a big Sam Raimi fan. I absolutely, love the Spider-Man trilogy he did.
You never mentioned it,
including the third one.
You've never mentioned that.
I was really excited. I was really looking forward to Raimi coming back, stepping back into the Marvel world, and doing something very different with Doctor Strange. But for me, I really enjoy Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness as a film. I just don't think it really did well for the overall sort of thing that they wanted to do with the whole multiversal stuff. It just kind of felt very lackluster in a film that's titled Multiverse of Madness. And yes, I know it's just the title, but with how far that they were taking the multiverse, how far they already took it with having, Toby's Spider-Man come back, Andrew's Spider-Man coming back, it was like they've pushed it now. Raimi, you can just push it to anything you want. And it felt like they just kind of played it very, very, very safe, which I didn't really understand.
If anything, Deadpool and Wolverine was more of a multiverse of madness. Went to more universes. Was more madness. Have you seen the deleted scene for Deadpool and Wolverine where he asks Paradox says something to Wade? Yeah. And he goes, of course I've seen Ant-Man and the Multiverse of Madness or something like that.
I think he said something along. So I was disappointed with Multiverse of Madness, though. Don't get me wrong. I was disappointed, but I loved the style. I loved what Raimi brought to it.
Yes, the action behind the camera.
Yeah. The way it looked as well, it looked very unique for a Marvel film. Quite dark. So I'm all up for this, especially now with Marvel, shifting things about, fixing things, having some, getting Kevin Feige really more involved with it, and having a plan as well.
Yeah.
So for me, I think this will help Sam Raimi as well. I'm not putting all the blame to Sam Raimi for that film, but it was definitely, I'd say it was in a weird position for Sam Raimi to step in and do a film, because if he did the first one, maybe he's a bit more familiar with how this world works, things like that, and the sort of the expectation people sort of had for this film, especially.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a bit better, but we work with what we got, and I'll say this, I am, since Marvel have been rejigging some things around, I am definitely more excited now for Raimi to come back.
Yeah, look, me too. It's, like we've said for a long time, we are getting very close to that Marvel's make it or break it year now. 2025 will be the decider of all. It'll be, can they pull themselves out of the mess that they've got themselves into? But, how bad you think that mess is completely up to you. But look, Raimi coming back, I've been on board for this for a long time. I loved Raimi's direction in the first one. Like you, I love how the film looked, which is another thing I said about Joker, too. Joker 2 was shot beautifully. And just how he wanted the camera to move and stuff like that. So I kind of want him to get the same cinematographer who we had for Multiverse of Madness back in with him for Doctor Strange 3. Obviously, he was setting some things up with Charlize Theron's Clear. Kind of want to see where that goes. But I just think we need to get him with a different writer. And maybe have him a bit more involved from the beginning, from the inception of the story. Because he jumped on to Multiverse of Madness. I think some of us forget that Scott Derrickson was supposed to return for Multiverse of Madness, and then he left because they were changing the project. And then Sam Raimi kind of came on as a hired hand. I'd kind of want Sam Raimi to be the man kind of leading the ship.
I'll say this, after you saying that, I definitely think Sam Raimi is the one who, somewhat saved this film a little bit.
Yes, definitely.
So I'll thank him for that, and he had to work with what he had. Again, I'm not blaming really Sam Raimi at all. It was really weird circumstances where he dropped into this franchise and film. So, but hopefully now going into the third one, things are planned out a little bit better. Marvel's, going back to its roots, for the MCU at least, having things that more sort of making sense, having a bit of connectivity, having some rules from the multiverse finally, even though the multiverse is literally about to end soon. So, yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. I'm more so now than I was before. If you said this to me before, when Marvel was still
which we
going
have said this
down
to you
hill,
before, and you haven't been on board before, and you can tell now with Deadpool and Wolverine, and Marvel had its big week in July with Deadpool and Wolverine coming out, and then all the Comic-Con stuff. That was the announcement of we are back, baby, trust us. And a lot of people have jumped back on board. It's just, can they carry that hype now to be, we are number one and we never left sort of thing.
Yeah.
Don't call it a comeback. You know what I mean? But you never know. Like I say, I've got massive hopes for next year. Am I setting myself up for disappointment? Maybe. But I don't think there's anything wrong with us two having faith that this thing that we love is going to get back to what we loved it for. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. No point in me sitting here for fucking a year going, Marvel sucks, Marvel sucks, Marvel sucks, and then they bring something out that I like, but because I've built an audience on fucking saying Marvel sucks, I can't say I like it. So
Star Wars is dead. Watches another one.
that was good. That
was great.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm excited for this if it's true. With it coming from Jeff, I'm kind of expecting it to be somewhat true, and this is a very believable story anyway. So, and Sam Raimi said he'd do it as well when asked. So I don't see why there wouldn't be any truth to this. I think it makes the most sense with where Marvel is right now. Anyway, Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2. Ewan McGregor says they're trying to figure it out and see what they can do for Obi-Wan Season 2. And he also did say maybe they could go back to the Clone War era. He says he wants to try the armor on, which got me rather excited. So if they were going to do Obi-Wan Season 2, where do you want to see it go? Do you want to see it at all? Or
I think you know where I stand with the first season of Obi-Wan. It had some really phenomenal, fantastic moments.
it's
Princess Leia
built on moments. That show,
yeah. Princess Leia, obviously when she's younger, having like a sort of like an adventure with her, that was great as well. Overall, though, for the season that we got, it felt very like, it was sort of like Disney have set this format, and it's like, okay, you need to fit that format now. Which, as we all know, the format that Disney uses is pretty dog shit. It's not good. It works for the Mandalorian because I think that's how it sort of, it sort of helps set that bar. It helps set that
The Mandalorian as well. It's like an
foundation.
old Western show. At least the
Yeah,
first two seasons wasn't. It was like wasn't as interconnected as the third season, where it kind of didn't work then. But the first two
yeah.
seasons, it was like different planet, different story, little bob in
I
here
don't
and
want
there.
to. I don't want to sound like I'm saying, "Oh, the Mandalorian is the reason why the Disney Plus shows are the way they are and the way they're sort of edited and cut down." But it is a contributor, and Disney very much played it safe, which I really don't understand why. There's so many stories, so many characters they could do, and they just keep. It's like that new Star Wars game, Outlaws. They introduced a new character. I'm sure she's great, but why not just do a Han Solo game instead of like introducing more characters to this already jam-packed universe? Just give us characters we know and love. Now, they brought us the first season of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. We wanted a film. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. It brought back Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen. Fucking great. It was like such a
Yeah,
heartful, beautiful moment that they could tell they were really listening to the fans there. But yeah, no, just overall, I think season one should just be done and done. Um, there's no need for a season two. I don't see a reason for them to do it. It just feels like they're kind of forcing it. I'll say this though, and I think you'll agree with me. I would much rather have a limited series bringing back Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor as their respective characters and just do some Clone Wars shit. It doesn't have to have big consequences for the future of Star
yeah,
Wars or towards the past or anything. We just want to see some fucking badass action. We want to see these two in their Clone Wars robes with their armor, just kicking ass. Bring back Tamara Morrison. Um, as the clone troopers, because he got done really dirty, I think, with his own show,
yeah.
Book of Boba Fett. This would just be a love letter to the fans if they did it, and it would be so easy to do. I think that's where they should take this character if they're going to do something with it. It's a great way to stay safe with it as well. So that's where I stand with it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't necessarily want an Obi-Wan season 2. I think the biggest mistake Disney made with Obi-Wan was before Obi-Wan was even an idea that they could do. And that's when they killed Maul in Rebels. Imagine that being live action, like Maul and Obi-Wan. Like that instead of... Because I really feel like, as much as I loved the Vader stuff in it, and it's the standout stuff, it's the best stuff in it, the Vader stuff, and the fight at the end, and, I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did. I would have much preferred Maul being the antagonist in...
Imagine this, Colin. I think you'll agree with me here. Do you know before when the show when it was a show? I think it was set to be a film. I don't know if it had any directors or writers tied with it, but we're pretty sure it was set to be an actual film. Now, look, we got the Han Solo film, which nobody really asked for. I didn't really enjoy it. I know you quite enjoyed it, but no one really asked for it. You can tell by the critical reviews and the,
Yeah.
of course, box office.
I held off watching that for years as well. I didn't watch that in
Yeah,
the cinema, and I watched it and I thought, do you know what? Not terrible, but it's not the best thing ever.
yeah, no. I think this is a massive, wallop, big chunk of money Disney could have made here if they actually did a film. Because if they did a film, of course, let's say the Rebel stuff didn't happen with Maul.
And I love
They'd
Rebels
have
as well, and I
Maul.
love that happened in Rebels, but I kind of wish it
Yeah.
didn't if there was the aspect of getting the live action.
Yeah. In an ideal world, it would have been great to have like a nice, an Obi-Wan trilogy. This is just me dreaming here, but it would have been awesome for Obi-Wan to then, his first villain of the past, I guess you could say, probably be Darth Maul. He's dealing with that sort of thing. And then maybe in the sequel, it's something to do with Qui-Gon and his past and whatnot. And then in the third one, it's, big boy Vader, the whole Anakin stuff. That would have just been the perfect way to do an Obi-Wan trilogy. You have all the characters there. We
Yeah.
all know the characters. Would have been able to explore it much more. People would have gone to see these films easily. Um, even if these films weren't great, they still would have made money because it's fucking Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, who does not want to see that.
Yeah.
I just feel like Disney really missed the mark of it, you know, with doing this as a show.
Yeah, look, I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, but I'm with you. Let's get a limited Clone Wars series going. Hayden Christensen, look, he came back as Anakin. They de-aged him, which looked a lot better in Ahsoka than it did in Obi-Wan, I must admit.
Listen, I'll just say this. I don't give a fuck. They can not de-age that guy. He still looks really good in this day and age. So I don't really care if they have to de-age or whatever. But, yeah.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor could definitely still play like a Revenge of the Sith era Obi-Wan. With a bit of makeup
100%.
and his haircut. Definitely. So yeah, I want to see some Clone Wars. McGregor kind of wants to see some Clone Wars. So let's get some fucking Clone Wars.
I gotta ask though, do you
Yo.
think after the financial disaster that was Han Solo and critical reception that it got, do you think that's the reason why Disney sort of like turned their backs on the idea of an Obi-Wan Kenobi film?
Yes, I wouldn't say it's 100% the reason. I think
it's definitely a factor.
It's definitely a factor, and it's definitely with the reception that Star Wars was just getting around that time anyway. You've got to think 2017, The Last Jedi. Because they came off. People like to shit talk The Force Awakens now. That film was beloved when it first came out, and the personal reason why I can't go back and watch Force Awakens now is because of where it goes. So and I'd loved. I really liked Force Awakens when it first came out. I remember going to see it with my dad, and that was like a really important thing for me because he got me into Star Wars when I was younger. So I've got a lot of good memories with it. And then a year after, Rogue One, which is arguably one of the best Star Wars films.
Now wait for Andor Season 2. If you're a Star Wars fan, watch Andor Season 1.
Which people don't like to give Disney credit for with Rogue One. Rogue One's fucking spectacular. And I think looking back at it now, it is the best film that they've made, Star Wars-wise. But yeah, I think it's critical reception to Star Wars in general. And then, we've got this streaming platform on the horizon. So they kind of wanted content for that as well. So I think it's a mix of, do we want to risk a film, but we could also make it a TV show to push this new streaming platform that we're making.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's...
Yeah, I mean, do you know what it is though, Colin, as well? They could have, if they planned out an Obi-Wan Kenobi show and they still could have done that 3-movie kind of thing. Obviously, they wouldn't have been able to do it with Maul. But, a lot of TV shows now, they end up getting movies, sequels. We've got one coming out soon with Peaky Blinders. Obviously, the massive success that was El Camino, Breaking Bad story.
Yeah.
This could have been such a great thing of like, okay, we've got the show. You kind of, you're bringing in people to Disney Plus, like you said, but then it leads into a film, much like how The Mandalorian is leading into a film.
Well, yeah, it's...
Yeah.
But look, another thing I want to say is Obi-Wan Season 1 was announced, and I remember Ewan McGregor were brought out on stage, Kathleen Kennedy, and she went, Ewan, are you going to play Obi-Wan one more time? And he was like, yes, because he'd been getting asked since 2015. Well, no, I'm pretty sure I'd been getting asked since after Revenge of the Sith. So, I think that was kind of more to get people off Ewan's back to announce it. Like, they knew they were going to do it, but then you find out they didn't have a script ready at all. They didn't have a fucking clue what they were doing with the story. They just knew they were doing Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Something Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. And they thought I think they just thought, it's all going to fall in place and the fans are going to love it because it's Ewan. And they've been calling for it. Which the fans had been calling for. It's not like Han Solo, where not many people were actually asking for a Han Solo movie. But we got it.
I feel like the Han Solo would have worked a lot better as a show, akin to like how Andor is.
Yeah.
It would have worked so much better, and then you've got a film for Obi-Wan with all the lightsabers and your flashy action.
Well, I was gonna say I'd love to see Alden Ehrenreich back as Solo in the new Lando show, but that's not going to be a show now. The Lando stuff's going to be a movie, and Donald Glover's writing it, so I'm actually pretty excited for that, if they ever get around to doing it. Anyway.
No.
We could talk about Star Wars all day. I know we could.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyway, excited for Skeleton Crew. Kinda.
I have higher hopes than I did with Acolyte.
It's John Watts, isn't it? And guess what?
Yeah.
I didn't like Acolyte, and I just stopped watching it and just didn't bitch about it for 3 weeks.
Talking about it, yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to watch this show, don't like it, I'm going to complain about it for 8 weeks. Wow, your life seems fun. Anyway. Joel Kinnaman has been doing some interviews because actors do interviews. And he was asked if he would be reprising his role or if he'd be appearing in Peacemaker Season 2. And he was like, never, that's ridiculous. I would never do anything like that. That's just like not me. And it's like, you sneaky boy, I think I know what you're getting at, you.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joel Kinnaman is going to be in Peacemaker Season 2 as a flashback, because we know Frank Grillo's going to be in this as Rick Flag Sr. Obviously, we're going to get our first bit of Frank Grillo this year, right in December, when Creature Commandos comes out. So, and we know Frank Grillo's going to be in Superman. We've seen him on set of that. He's going to be in Peacemaker Season 2. So, Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr. is going to be like a bit of Nick Fury glue by the looks of things to start this universe off. But do you think Joel Kinnaman is being truthful with his statement, or do you think he's just trying to hide the fact that he's going to maybe make a little appearance in Peacemaker Season 2? Because we know the death of Rick Flag really affected Peacemaker.
Yeah, I think it's looking more like he will appear as some sort of potential flashback or whatever. Just with what he said, it's like, okay, right, you're lying because you've been in Suicide Squad. You've been in 2 Suicide Squad films.
Yeah.
Which it makes no sense what you're saying. And if he was saying that truthfully, then it doesn't make sense. Anyways,
and it's not like he's opposed to TV as well, because he's done one of my favourite TV shows that got cancelled by Netflix, but Altered Carbon. That first season with him, I really enjoy. I think he's great in it.
I do too. Yeah, I actually I sat down and I watched that one day, and it was really great. Also, a show that I am currently going through at the moment. I gave it a break because I thought I'll just let some seasons drop out and, get so I can sit down and binge it. For All Mankind, which is on Apple TV. It's like a space, going to the moon and Mars and other things like that. It's got quite a bit of drama in it, but Joel Kinnaman is like, he's just Joel Kinnaman. You can't not like the guy.
He's the man.
He's the man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously in the Suicide Squad films, he's easily like one of the best parts of the first one.
Yeah.
He's the only sort of bit that I like about those films. And it was great to see him reprise his role in such a great way in the good Suicide Squad film.
Yeah. Who ate all the fucking enchiladas?
Yeah, no, so I'm 100% down for having Joel Kinnaman pop up again whether it be in this new DC show, Peacemaker Season 2. I think there's some interesting stuff they can do there. But something I'd really like, I'd love Joel Kinnaman to have something in Marvel as well. I think there's so much potential for him to pop up as someone. But that's another topic for another day. Joel Kinnaman, I'm all 100% for it. I think he's more likely to be in the Season 2 than not.
Yeah, look, I love Joel Kinnaman as well. He's like, he does like a really good American accent as well. Like when you see him in interviews, it's like, huh? What the fuck's coming out of his mouth right now? And he's like, oh wow. And I guess that's why they call it.
Don't try to do it.
Acting. What do you mean? Don't try do it.
Don't try to do like a different accent because you'll just butcher it.
I'm good at accents.
You're not.
What do you mean I'm not? Mate, you're gonna upset me right now. All right.
Good.
I'll have you to know, all people at work think I'm accent king. All right. So, put that in your pipe and blow your own brains out. Anyway, what was I saying? Joel Kinnaman, good. I really liked him as Rick Flag. I was pissed off when he got killed by Peacemaker, and it made me think, how can I like this guy? You know, I liked Peacemaker, I liked his stuff, but I was like, how am I going to be able to watch a show where this guy killed Rick Flag? And then John Cena does an amazing job, and it's like, oh, this is why you like Peacemaker. And he feels guilty about it, but anything for peace. So I think it'll definitely be a flashback, or maybe even, we know at the end of Season 1, he's seeing his dad in his head, having delusions of his dad. Maybe that could also extend onto Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag, which, saying it now, is I am definitely 100% right, and that will happen. So bookmark it, guys, because I am right about most things. And Kyle hates it that I'm saying that, but he knows it's true.
It's annoyingly true, yeah.
Yes. So, that'll do us for today, guys. Kyle, anything you want to add before we go?
We started getting into Warhammer. I guess that's cool.
Yeah, this is going to ruin this channel. It's going to ruin this channel.
Yeah.
In another 5 years, I won't know what a shower looks like. I'll be like...
Oh, God. What have we done? Why have we jumped into this?
Why have we jumped in? I've got my starter set that Kyle picked up for me.
Yeah, sorry guys, we're just nerding out here. Here's a very not so great picture of the one I've painted so far.
Why didn't you just go get it? It's like in your house.
I'm very proud. It's downstairs and it's cold. Inside joke there.
Yeah, inside joke. The time that Kyle didn't turn his PlayStation on because he was fucking cold. Why didn't you come on, Kyle? Oh, we're cold, mate. yeah, we're cold.
Yeah. We live in England. It's fucking freezing.
It's not that cold yet, mate.
It's kind of warm today.
It's been really warm today.
Yeah, it's been pretty decent.
I've been sponge bathing hippos.
Jesus. Right. I guess we'll see you Wednesday then.
Wednesday, unless something amazing comes out tomorrow. That's newsworthy. I always like. Do you know what? I'm gonna have a little check right now before we go, because I always turn this fucking camera off when something fucking comes up. Nah, there's no.
It's like gaming news.
Yeah, Alien Isolation 2 is in early development.
Halo has now been changed into Unreal Engine 5.
Wow, what amazing news. Anyway, guys, see you later.